Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Reed and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about Season 4, Part 2 of Rick and Morty. Last week I talked about Part 1 of Season 4, which covered episodes 1 through 5. You could find that video right next to my head. So today I'm going to be talking about episodes 6 through 10. All in all, I thought it was about equal to Part 1 on how Season 4 as a whole wasn't as good as the first 3 seasons, but it still had enough funny moments and great episodes to keep my attention and still be a really good season overall. So now I'll be reviewing the season episode by episode instead of a whole batch of episodes because the episodes themselves are so different from each other. I can't really do them justice just talking about them as a whole. So here we go, starting off with episode 6, Neville, Rick, and Morty. My first watch, I was extremely confused. The plot was so, like, non-linear and very off the wall, and it really moved from place to place a lot. It was just all over the place. But I understood it better on my second watch. The episode itself was very meta, making fun of the fans' expectations for future storylines. It teased us with a possible evil Morty plotline and made fun of the audience for expecting one, which kind of upset me a little bit. But on the other hand, they also teased us with Phoenix, Paulson, and Tammy, and we got the resolution of that in episode 10. So there's still hope for evil Morty. So yeah, the whole episode is basically an anthology of what ifs. Like, what if Rick and Morty did this? What if this happened to Rick and Morty? I thought the twist at the end was pretty funny. How it was a story train and it was just kind of represented the writers of the show's unlimited potential for ideas, which is good. Because the show's going to have at least 60 episodes left. Pretty should be good that they have ideas, or else it gets really bad. Like The Simpsons. Got terrible after 10 seasons. Debatable. Maybe 15 seasons if you're giving them a good luck, but that's a video for another time. Okay, moving on to episode 7, Prometheus. This episode is a lot less confusing than episode 6. It was a lot more easy to understand. It felt like an episode from one of the earlier seasons with the classic kind of making fun of sci-fi movies episode. This one made fun of the movie Prometheus, which is a monster movie by Ridley Scott. I like that Summer had a lot more screen time in this episode than the rest of the season, and how she started a revolution for the aliens and convinced them to not shit eggs and die, because that was the whole philosophy. They're born, they shit eggs, and they die. Summer's like, no, you are worth more than shitting eggs and dying. So they started a whole revolution and just catapulted from there into chaos. It was hilarious. But still not one of my favorite episodes from the season, so I'm still giving it a B minus. So moving on to episode 8, the Vat of Acid episode. This was by far my favorite episode of the season. The scene where Rick and Morty are hiding in a vat of acid to fake their deaths in front of a bunch of mobsters was hilarious. It lasted several minutes, and it was just funny how you'd think these hardcore mobsters would just get over it, but they start like reevaluating their own lives. Because how could he do this to his own grandson? So they start reflecting on themselves, like The Sopranos or something, and it just goes on for so long, and it makes Morty just, I'm done. He gives up. He jumps out of the vat of acid, which really upsets Rick because Morty really ruined his plan. Um, so that later in that episode, Rick gives Morty a time traveler, well, what Morty thinks is a time traveler, is actually a fake time traveler that just kills Morty and awakens him in another dimension, and it just replaces Morty with a dead Morty. So every dimension he dies. So it's not really a time machine, but Morty thinks it is. Um, the 5 minute long sequence of Morty meeting a girl, falling in love with her, they get into a fight, but then they try to patch things up over vacation. The flight crashes in the middle of these snowy mountains, and they're struggling to survive for weeks on end. They have to eat a person to survive, and then they finally get rescued after weeks. They come home. Everything's perfect. They've rebuilt their relationship. They're surviving. They have the perfect future now. And then Jerry messes it all up by pressing the time machine button again. Like, oh, what's this? He presses it, ruins everything. None of that ever happened. Morty could never relive that moment. It was hilarious. It's the longest setup for a joke I have ever seen. The longest setup for a punchline, and the whole scene I was waiting like, well, when's the punchline? When am I gonna laugh? And when it finally hit, I just couldn't help it. Burst out laughing. It's the funniest like thing I've seen in a long time because we are living in the coronavirus, so you don't laugh that much. Um, so yeah, I just burst out laughing. The whole episode was just a big plan by Rick to show Morty to never doubt him, and the episode ends with him making him go to a vat of acid in the climax to prove that Rick was right. So Rick creates this fake time machine, which really just kills a bunch of other Mortys to prove to Morty not to mess with him. Don't doubt me. So yeah, that was a hilarious episode. I'm giving it an A. Best episode of the season. Definitely, like, that's what a lot of people say, that Rick and Morty isn't as good as it used to be, and I could kind of agree, but then once in a while, we get one of these awesome episodes that come around. Probably be talked about for years among the Rick and Morty fandom. The non-toxic parts of it, hopefully. So yeah, that's moving on to episode 9. Child Rick of Mort. Now, coming off of the best episode of the season, we probably get the worst episode of the season. It was a pretty dull episode compared to the others. It was quite forgettable. Like, my dad fell asleep during this one, and he was like, "Did I miss anything?" And I was like, "No, you don't have to watch this one. This one you could just skip." Seemed to reuse a lot of old plot lines from better episodes, like Rick dating a planet, was similar to him dating an entire species in autoerotic assimilation. And Jerry's always desperate for attention, and Summer's just being the stereotypical party girl. It just like felt like they were retreading a lot of old plots that were done in better ways in other episodes. So yeah, there weren't that many laughs in this episode. It was just completely average, It was a C plus. It wasn't terrible, but I don't think I'd ever watch it again. So yeah, C plus. Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't that good in my opinion. But that brings us to the action-packed finale, episode 10, Star-Mort, Return of the Jerry. This episode was a payoff to not one, but two plot lines that have been set up for the past 2 seasons. First, we get the Beth is a clone storyline, which we meet this other Beth who doesn't think she's a clone, and who thinks she's not the clone, and then our Beth thinks that she's the clone. Then we find out that not even Rick knows which one's which. So yeah, that one's kind of crazy. That was cool how we got Beth is like a Star Wars chick now. She's leading a battle against the Federation, which apparently Rick used to do years ago, which will make for an interesting spinoff, in my opinion. But I like how they leave that up to our imagination. And the second plotline they conclude is the Phoenix Person and Tammy plotline, which is set up in season 3, episode 1, 3 years ago. So we waited 3 years for this payoff. So yeah, that was really it was worth it. It was a great episode. I like how fast that Tammy died. I was expecting her to go on for multiple seasons, but nope, she dead. I liked when Jerry used his invisibility belt to make it seem like Tammy's still alive, and it was funny how a Phoenix Person still believed it. Then moving on to the invisibility belt, I like someone Morty were fighting over it, and they're so meta about how this is a character arc for them, because later in the episode they're working together and they're like, yeah, this is where our character arc was leading to. Like, they're basically reviewing themselves for me. So thank you guys, that was nice. Two Beths working together, and Rick realizes that neither one of them thinks he's a great dad. Just really ends the episode on a sad note, because he realizes his personality and the choices Rick makes really piss people away from him. But the Beth plotline and the Phoenix Person plotline set up a lot of things in season 5. Like, it leaves the opportunity for Star Wars Beth to come back for an episode maybe, and I think one of the subplots of season 5 would be Rick trying to rehabilitate Phoenix Person back in the Bird Person after he was manipulated by that evil Tammy. So yeah, like I said, the episode ended on a sad note, but hopeful that season 5 would deliver on some good scenes. I thought the after credit scene was pretty funny, with Jerry saving people with his invisible truck, until, of course, because he's Jerry, runs out of gas, and he can't find the place where he could refill the gas, because his truck is invisible, and that's impossible. So, like he said, it was fun while it lasted. So yeah, this is a great finale. Besides the Vat of Acid episode, was my favorite part in the entire season. So yeah, I'm giving this an A. So like I said, the three out of five episodes were great. One was confusing. One was just not that enjoyable in my opinion. But if you like it, good for you. Good for you. So yeah, I liked the season, even if it wasn't as good as the first three. Maybe it's just because the first three had such high standards. Going into the season four, I was expecting more, but there's, like I said, great episodes in it. The humor of the show has changed, and the jokes have become far more meta and self-realized than they have been. For better or for worse, sometimes those jokes land, sometimes they don't. I had weak episodes like episodes 4 or episode 9, but really spectacular episodes like 1, 5, 8, and 10. So yeah, I think the really great episodes outnumber the very bad episodes, and then the medium episodes is kind of there in the middle. So yeah, I think on average, the show is really great. So I'm looking forward to season 5, but knowing these guys, it probably won't be until 2022 at the earliest. So yeah, I give the entire season a B, because the good outnumber the bad, and that is what I think a B is. Yeah, so everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this mini series, I guess you could call it, of two-part series of me reviewing season 4 of Rick and Morty. Really glad I did not make this one video because I don't think I could talk for 25 minutes straight. And I don't think you guys want to listen to me for 25 minutes straight either. So yeah, I post videos every Thursday and Sunday. Thursdays are more TV oriented, while Sundays are more book oriented. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a nice day. Everybody out there stay safe, and peace.